The 2026 F1 season starts in a few days, and I am absolutely obsessed with 3D printing anything Formula 1. And since the cars have an all-new design, I thought it would be really cool if I could print a front wing. And then that led me to this post on MakerWorld by a user called Photex. They made this model back in August based off of the F1 renders for the 2026 season, but after seeing the new cars in testing, it looks very similar. And so I decided I'm going for it. This thing is not going to be small. It actually comes in at 44 inches or 110 centimeters wide and 34 inches or 87 centimeters tall. But to say it's that big, it only takes 3.6 kilograms of filament. There will be a link in the description to where I buy my filament. It only cost me £22 in total to print this. What I'm showing here on screen is a few problems I had with the print profile, just with pieces moving around, and I fixed most of them just by adding a little bit of a bigger brim in Bamboo Lab Studio. And the front nose piece decided after 10 hours that it didn't want to be on the build plate anymore, and so it walked away. But thankfully I roughly knew what layer that it failed on, so I was able to just reprint the top and glue it on. All in all though, I cannot say thank you enough to Photex on MakerWorld for making this print profile available. It did have some of the nicest supports I've ever had to remove from a piece. They literally just fell right off. Now if you're following along at home and you've managed to print all those bits, then next I used super glue and some super glue activator, which makes it set really quickly, like 15 seconds kind of quick. And I also got myself a respirator which is organic vapor proof. That will come in handy for when we spray paint later, but also I used it for when super gluing. Now you want to lay all those pieces out and make sure you've printed everything correctly for a start, but mainly make sure the orientation is correct, because once you've put that glue on, you do not have long. It didn't really come with a guide on where to put stuff, but it should be quite self-explanatory because it will only go in one place. I started by joining these two end plate pieces together, so I did the right end plate and then the left end plate, and then I was able to fill in the middle. During this section, we're just trying to get the glued together joints as flat as possible to make it easier when we fill. Now I used 3 different printers to print this, and I'm very lucky that the tolerances came out just as good as they actually did. If you've never used a glue accelerator before, then you just put super glue on one face, but on the other piece you just give it a quick spray with that accelerator. You don't put glue on both sides, you don't put spray on both sides. Now these pieces down the middle started to get a little bit tight. It seemed to be curving inwards at the back, but a little push and I was able to get them in. These large box sections went on really nice and easy, except for the last one, which was actually missing a little tab. It fell off sometime during printing and I wasn't going to spend 10 hours reprinting it, so I just filled it in with a spare piece. Now if you liked the fact that it looks a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle and you want it all black anyway, then you can stop right here. But for me, I wanted it all nice and smooth so I could spray paint it, and that meant busting out the filler. Now any 2-part filler will do. If you can get car body filler, even better. I'm just using this 2-part wood filler because it's what I had on hand. And I think this cost me about £5, whereas car body filler was about £22 if I remember correct. If you've never used this stuff before, basically you take a golf ball size of that, and then you take a pea size of the hardener, which is in the small little sachet. You can always refer to the instructions on the back, but please just don't make more than a golf ball size. You won't be able to use it in the 5 minutes before it dries. After you've mixed it together a few times to mix that hardener through, then you can just start applying it on like this in a decent sized layer. It's a complete balancing act because you want to put enough on that you can't see where those lines are where you've glued it together anymore, but equally I don't want to spend the rest of my life sanding. So basically just overfill it a little bit to make sure that when it shrinks, because it probably will, that you can't see the lines underneath anymore. And remember that when we get to the painting and stickering stage, not everything will be visible anyway. You truly won't know how good of a job you've done with this until it comes time for sanding and then painting. Which, speaking of, it is time to take it outside and give it a sand. Hopefully at this point yours looks as rough as mine does. Now here we're going to be sanding not only the filler but all the layer lines, so wherever it's black in between the filler and stuff like that, because you will see it once it's painted. And this part is only designed to test your patience and how much work you're prepared to put in. I use 120 grit sandpaper here for the whole thing, and just basically kept going until my eyes thought what I was seeing looked good. But that doesn't mean it necessarily is good. You should run over it with your fingers as well. Any bumps you feel you will be able to see later. But basically, where the filler and the plastic meet, you want it to be a nice smooth ramp. If it looks like a castle now, it's only going to get worse. And that brings us on to filler primer, which is the first thing I'm going to do, and that is going to fill in all of our layer lines, and it's going to prime the thing ready for the next coat of paint. I'm not sure if I could have chosen a windier day for this, but it's been raining all year so far in England, and we're on February something. So it took me a few weeks to actually be able to get out and paint this, because at this point you don't want any raindrops in that coat. All spray paint should be built up in lots of thin layers. I might have gone a little bit heavy with this, to be honest. But if you keep your spray paint cans nice and warm before you go out and paint, just basically keep them inside at 20 plus degrees, you'll get a lot less spraying, like spattering all over the paint. That's basically where big droplets start coming out, and it just looks awful when it does that. But I'm really happy with how this turned out so far with just the filler primer. Because we went over that plastic, all the black bits, it started to really fill in those layer lines and make it all nice and smooth. It's just a shame that no teams have that filler primer yellow look as their livery. Otherwise we could have been done by now. Alas, I'm making this into the 2026 Ferrari colours. So it's going to be a healthy mix of gloss black spray paint and gloss red. It's a much lighter red though than in previous years where everyone had matte paints because that was for weight saving, but now at least 50% of the surfaces of the car have to be painted in the new regulations, so everyone's actually gone back to some quite interesting liveries. So once I'd done with my gloss black, I tried to mask it off as best I could. I did this all freehand, as you can probably tell, but then I found the nearest gloss red spray paint. I literally held up the design while I was in the shop and just looked at the caps of the spray paint and said, yeah, that'll do. And honestly, it doesn't look like very much now on the screen, but when you see it in a second, it will look really good. I think it is a pretty spot on match for the 2026 Ferrari. Much better than my previous year's attempt where I made the Aston Martin in their green, but I actually looked up the official colour for that and it just came out looking not as vibrant. So once you've done with your spray paint, you have to take off your amazing masking job before it starts to set, otherwise you might pull off some paint with it. I left 24 hours to dry between everything I did, so 24 hours between filler primer, 24 hours between black and red. And then with the help of an assistant I managed to remove all my bin bags which were acting as masking. And the final step for me with this paint is to add some clear lacquer just to protect everything and its gloss as well, so it's going to give it a nice sheen over the top. There's still definitely imperfections in it, and the time to correct those was definitely back at the filler primer stage, but honestly I'm really happy with it, and this is the most harsh light that it will ever likely be in my man cave where I have my sim racing rig, and this will go. It's quite dark. You'll never honestly see any of the lines or filler blemishes. And especially when we consider this point, we're now moving on to making the stickers for it. So here I took a photo of the wing with the tape measure next to it, and then I started to get the logos from Google and superimpose those over the top so I could get an idea of the sense of scale and exactly how big I wanted each sticker. Perhaps you already have your own ideas on how you could possibly do this and map out where the stickers will go. But for me, this worked quite well, and it was really rudimentary and crude, but it worked. For most of the stickers, I was literally just able to type in things like IBM logo white and stuff like that. There was literally only one, and that was probably that Unicredit logo at the bottom, which I couldn't find it organised like how it was on the Ferrari car, so I had to kind of make it myself. And then I kind of realised somewhere along the line that the proportions weren't quite the same as what I was seeing on the Ferrari online. I decided there was in fact enough space that I could add the Lewis Hamilton 44 logo at the top. And in my opinion it made everything look a little bit more cohesive. Now I'd just like to highlight how awesome this company Siser are. They make cutting machines like sticker cutting machines and things like that, and I basically reached out to them and said, look, I want to do this project where I have a Formula 1 wing and stickers for it, and I said, will you send me a sticker machine? Kind of expecting them to say no, but they honestly came back and said, yeah, okay. So honestly, I can't thank them enough for it, and honestly, if you ever have any interest in a cutting machine for a purpose like this, then please have a look at Siser. So I'm going to just show you how I do it in that application and with their device, but I will show you an alternate method shortly. So if you do somehow end up being able to use a Siser cutting machine, then the software is really simple to use. You can basically just drag and drop in your PNGs. This is ready to print. As you can see, it has these like black marks in the corners, and that's basically how the machine will work out where to cut. It'll register those black marks, and then it'll know from the software where the cut lines should be. It's honestly one of the most fun things I have in my possession. is this Siser Juliet cutting machine. It's a 30cm cutting machine, and basically now I will stick that onto this low tack cutting mat, and then I'll feed all of this into my machine, go back to my computer, and I'll basically press send cutting job, which is just the silhouette, it's just the outline. And honestly, this machine is just so satisfying to watch. It's very quick at what it does. Siser aren't paying me to say any of this, by the way. They've just sent me the machine. I just fanboy over it so much. Now I can go and retrieve it and show you just exactly how it's cut out that IBM logo, which is the one part I don't really know how I would be able to do any other way. Then I can grab my weeding tool, just like this one, and begin to pull up on that corner of the paper, which will then reveal all that it's cut out for me to then transfer. Like I said, in a second I will explain a method B that you can use if you don't have a machine like this and you don't want to find someone to print them for you, which I would also recommend because stickers can be a pain, but that IBM logo will be difficult. So the other method you could use for cutting these stickers is exactly what I did last year when I made the Aston Martin F1 front wing. And what I did was buy some inkjet sticker paper like this from Amazon. This Koala brand is pretty good stuff. Then you can find your logos and just drag them into any old word processing document. I'm literally using Word here. You might have to figure out how to put a border around the IBM. Like I said, this IBM will be really difficult to cut out. Last year I used a scalpel along with these sticker sheets, and it was very fine, intricate work, and yeah, difficult, but not impossible. If you're happy to have a go at that, that's exactly how I did it last year. The results could have been better, but I'm still pretty happy with that one. So once you printed it out onto your glossy sticker paper, I would get one of these tools from AliExpress, which is basically a similar kind of cutter to what I have in that Siser, but it's in like a pen form, so you can basically go around it with your hands. Now, I've never actually tried to use these, but they get fantastic reviews. Last time I used something between a scalpel and an arts and crafts knife. It was a very sharp knife, but not quite as good as this tool. So once you've decided on the method you want to go for those stickers, that then brings us to the final part, which is applying said stickers. This will completely change the look of your wing, and you can plan what sponsors you put where to try and, hide some filler marks, or just to make it look a little bit more organized. At the end of the day, it's your wing and you're doing it just for fun. I wanted mine to look pretty much the same, just as if this wing had fallen off outside my house off an actual Formula 1 car and I'd gone out to pick it up. That's why I wanted all the original kind of sponsors. But I still did move some of them around, especially on the end plates, on the sides, because I didn't want the same crypto betting company like 9 times over this thing. So I picked some sponsors that were a bit higher up the wing that weren't actually in this section and just put them on there anyway. And I think it came out looking absolutely amazing. Let me know what you guys think, and also let me know what problems you had if you actually tried to make this along at home. I definitely want to make another one of these because a lot of the liveries look really good this year, so if you have any success with paints or anything like that, then please let me know. And a huge shout out to Siser for sending me that Juliet cutting machine so I could do all of these wonderful stickers. My wife was having so much fun putting those on that I hardly got to do any myself. Now all I've got to do is put a drill hole in the back at the top, and then I can hang it from a screw that I've put in the wall. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. I'll have some more videos coming just like this one, and I'll have a link on screen now to my other Formula 1 wing video where I actually cut out the stickers by hand so you can see how that process went. But thanks for watching, and till next time.